Oh, there you are. The internet's a little buggy here at the moment. Thank you. It's nice to be here. At my age, it's nice to be anywhere. As you can see, I'm back in Austria at the moment, and winter is just beginning. Right now it's after 11 p.m. yesterday for me, so as you can imagine, it's quite cold. A question to begin with. How many of you would say you're possibly dysfunctional in some way or could possibly benefit from a little therapy? Just a rough show of hands. We have about 1/3 of the room are dysfunctional and the rest of you are in denial because there's no normal people today. That was a trick question. And that's why today a little therapy is in order. Being a psychologist, people often ask me to explain some of the terms we use. One that comes up all the time is the Freudian slip. You know, when you say one thing and you mean your mother. Well, one gentleman asked me to explain this, and I explained to him by way of a story. I said, there was a man who wanted to go to Pittsburgh on the train. When he approached the ticket box, he noticed that the lady behind the counter had very large hands, and he said to her, "Can I have 2 tickets to Pittsburgh, please?" Now, the man I was talking to said, now I understand. I had a Freudian slip myself just the other day. You see, I was sitting having breakfast with my wife, and I meant to say, "Pass the sugar, please, honey." And instead it came out, "You really screwed up my life, you bitch." Certainly our lives have been screwed up with this coronavirus. And while I'm not a practicing medical doctor, although I have done a considerable research into the emergent cyclical double helix model of adult human biopsychosocial behavior, I felt the need to contribute what I could to reducing the impact of the pandemic on people's lives. So I created a number of inventions that would keep people much healthier. We were told initially not to touch our faces, so I invented the face avoidance ratchet tool, or FART for short. This useful machine would reduce the transmission of the virus by limiting the wearer's ability to touch their own face. It works for lefties as well, or also works if you're amphibious. You can buy 2. I'm sorry, I meant ambidextrous. I get a little mixed up with the English words. The English language has many words that are very confusing. One of the most difficult words I'm still trying to master is the word ass. Everyone knows that ass means butt. But no, sometimes it can mean a butt, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Ass has an optional use. Lazy ass means lazy as in my lazy ass husband means the same without the ass. Long ass flight means a long flight, but if you want to make it longer, just add ass. Long ass man means the whole man is longer, not just his ass. Stupid ass means stupid, but it can also mean the reverse. Bad ass means good. Smart ass means clever, but dumb ass is still dumb. It can mean you, as in move your ass. That means move everything in the same direction. It can mean no, as in someone might say, "This car is fast," and someone else could say, "Fast my ass." It can also be divided, as in you're an ass, which means you're stupid, but if you're half-assed, it means you're not concentrating, but if you're a piece of ass, it means you're beautiful. Anyway, back to my inventions. We were told not to shake hands, and so we had to come up with other ways to greet people, like Buddhist bowing, bumping fists, touching shoes. All these methods were awkward, and it was hard to know what the other guy was going to do, so it looked like you were doing some sort of strange mating ritual when you would see someone you knew. I understand habitual behavior, so I invented the shaking hands allowance glove, or SHAG for short. A comfortable, rubberized glove with embedded stainless steel spikes. Shaking hands with another person also having a shag is no problem. And there's a real incentive for everybody to invest in a shag, because without one your hand will get ripped to pieces. We learned earlier on the development of this unique device that you don't want to put your hands in your pockets, and it's best to remove it when you use the bathroom. But otherwise, a great tool for flattening out the curve. In these days, it's important to help people remain positive. A man once said to me that he felt worthless, to which I replied, "Oh, don't worry about that. It's just low self-esteem. It's very common among losers." I went to the doctor myself the other day for a checkup. Wasn't feeling the best. I said to the doctor, "Give it to me straight, doc. What's ailing me?" He said, "I think you've got a bad case of hypochondria." And that really hurts. I said, I think I want a second opinion. He said, okay, you're ugly as well. And I said, come on, doc, give it to me straight. Will I live a long and happy life? He said, I don't think so. I said, why not? He said, because Mercury is in Uranus at the moment. I said, I don't believe in that astrology mumbo jumbo. And he said, neither do I. It's just that I just broke my thermometer. So, back to my COVID-19 solutions for you. And this is a good one. We had this whole thing about social distancing. We were told to maintain a 1.5 meter distance from anyone else. I don't know about you, but that's hard to do. And sometimes other people seem to naturally want to invade your personal space. The solution to that problem was my pneumatically initiated social distancing, or PIST for short. This ingenious device, which could be automatically deployed by a battery-powered proximity sensor, would keep people at exactly 1.5 meters. A simple yet ingenious method that works on the same principle as one of those party blowers and can come with an inbuilt siren if desired, like it might say something like, hey you, move away from the body. Of course, it must be worn outside of the clothes, otherwise it can be a little embarrassing. A little bit of advice on the side. Women who are a little overweight tend to live a lot longer than men who mention it. And on the subject of cleanliness, we were advised to always use sanitizer. That's fine if there's sanitizer close by, but what if you're miles from the nearest sanitation station? Enter my mobile antiseptic delivery device, or MAD for short. This discreet device is worn under the clothing and consists of a plastic bladder bag secured under the arm, out of which a narrow gauge plastic tube extends and is held in place by a little wrist strap. On the end of this is a one-way pressure release valve. Whenever you want to sanitize your hands, simply squeeze your arm against your body and a little squirt will appear on your hands, and Robert is your mother's brother. Think of it like a colostomy bag in reverse. All these inventions are mentioned on my website, www.fritzheckler.com. I'm still looking for investors who might want to establish a joint venture to manufacture these on a large scale. I'm sure they'd go down well in Australia. Oh, hello, I seem to have lost... Hello, are you... Oh, there you are. It's amazing what the human mind can conceive and the influence that we can have on other people. I'd like to show you these 6 cards. You see the 6 cards? I want you to pick one of the cards, think of it in your mind, concentrate on that card, and remember that card. Nothing else but that card. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove one of these cards, this one here. And so I want to see if it worked. Is your card still there? No, I bet it's not. Raise your hand if your card is there. It's not there, see? Because we influenced you from all the way over here in Austria to pick the card. Anyway, I said at the beginning we would do some therapy, and that's what we've just done. Laughter is the best medicine, unless you have diabetes, in which case I recommend insulin. In the words of Dr. Scott Williams from Australia, if you don't laugh, you're going to die. And even if you do laugh, you're still going to die, so you might as well laugh. If you're still having trouble with your mirth quota, then I suggest you join a group. There are a number of groups available. There's one for people who are over 150 kilos. It's called a Mensa. They believe it is a manifest destiny to fill their entire auric field with physical form. But if you ask me, I think they're a little bit militant. You see, every week they have weigh-ins, and that's where they check if you're still over 150 kilos. And if you've lost weight, they send you to confection. That's where they fill you with sweets and they say, go and thin no more. And then there's another group. It's for people who think they are nobodies. It's called Anonymous. But you can't find them, so they have an unlisted number. If you've managed to sit through this entire session without having a little bit of a laugh, then you qualify for what we call the Dr. Fritz Certificate of Achievement Insanity. If someone says to you, you're insane, you can reply, am not, I've got the certificate. Simply go to my website, answer a few financial questions, and I will send one to you. So folks, It has been a real honor for you to have me here today, and it's so good to see so many old faces. Talking about old faces, I would like to introduce you to an old friend of mine. Why, we shared a stage only a couple of years ago at the Gold Coast at the International Rotary Convention. I met this man 20 years ago when in conference with Ken Marslew, who was the founder of Enough is Enough International Organization. He was the CEO of EIEIO. Would you please welcome my old friend, Mr. Alan Pease.